Hey everyone, hope you're all doing well. Hope everyone's staying safe out there. So the lock I've got clamped up here is an Omlock. This is another J-hook lock out of a Pachislo Slot Machine. So this lock is actually user rekeyable. This key that I have here does not have the best bitting, unfortunately, but this is probably just a factory, original key, and then I guess you would rekey with whatever user key. So the way you rekey this is you turn the key 180, remove it. That then allows the sidebar to move forward and decouple the two-part sliders in there. So the parts that engage with the sidebar are still engaged because the sidebar is still being held in, but it's decoupled with the parts that actually touch the key. I don't know if you can see in there, a little bit, barely. Let's see if I can actually adjust this. There we go. So, see that little triangular tooth looking thing? Oops. Come on. That is the slider, and there are 8 of those. And they are a punk to get your pick to stay on. And then in the way back, there's an additional sprung slider that opposes these guys, so it picks downward. And that's what actually keeps the core in place. Even though the sidebar is depressed right now, you can't rotate the core. So you would then put in whatever key you're rekeying this to and turn it back. Unfortunately, there's a piece missing out of this lock. It is the piece that couples the core to the actuator. This came to me in pieces. The person I got this from wanted to see how the rekey mechanism worked, so they took the lock apart and unfortunately weren't able to get it put back together, so I went ahead and did that so I can pick it and show you all how everything works. I used grub screws to put it back together so that I can actually take it apart again when I'm done here and show you all how that slider decoupling works. It's going to be a big mess when I take it apart, but whatever. I'll be able to at least show you how the mechanism works. So we're going to start by picking that slider way in the back. There we go. Get a little bit of a false set. And then the 4 back sliders, I kind of just have to rake into place a little bit because they're so low. And the ones in the front do need to be picked. It's not easy even getting on these things to pick them. Nope, maybe those back ones aren't ready yet. There we go. There we go. Okay. Well, that was fun. It took a little longer than I wanted it to, but that's okay. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put this into the Rekey position. And the reason for that is that it will keep the sidebar depressed when I pull the core out. So, go ahead and put this down here. I think I left these grub screws loose enough that I can just pull them out with my fingers. Yep, good. Okay. Alright, so the sidebar is going to come out on this side. That is the sidebar, and you can see that spring in the back that allows it to shift forward and backward. So I'm going to keep that sidebar held in place, and you can see all those sliders there. Now when I move this that way, you can see how they have little tits in them, and they go into those holes there, and there are multiple holes in a row that have like little steps in them. So you can see those little tits on the sliders there that move out. And then when you put the key in, that adjusts all these sliders on the left here, and then when the sidebar moves back into place, it then moves all of those guys into place, and then you can't pull the key out unless you move the sidebar out, but I'm not going to do that because then all of these guys will fall out of there. I had to balance and put all those back in, but if I decouple it, then the key can freely come out of place, and all those little sliders are free to move around. There is that sprung slider in the back there. That's the first one we gotta pick to get that to start its rotation. And then on the other side, you can see those are also parts of the sliders. It's like an M shape, and you can see that there. So, you know what? I think I can take this fully apart. I'll gut it. I'll show you everything because I can put it back together. So when I raise this sidebar up a little, all of these sliders are going to fall right out. There we go. I don't want to move the sidebar too much because then that spring will fly out. So I'm going to hold that in by placing it back. Well, actually, let me show you this first. So you can see, let's see if we can increase the brightness there. You see those holes there that have like multiple holes per, they're like ridged. And it looks like there's probably about 3 or 4 positions per slider, so you can probably have only 4 different bitting positions per slider in this thing, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So pop this back in here so none of those actually, you know what, I guess I'll risk it. So I'm going to show you the sidebar too. I'm going to do my best not to have any springs fly across the room. Okay, there we go, we got it. Alright. I'm just worried because this thing was such a pain to put together in the first place, but that's okay. Alright, so that's what the sidebar looks like. It's a pretty neat looking sidebar. And these sliders here that have the little tits on them, they also have a false gate. I don't know if you can see that there. They actually have a false gate on either side of the true gate. One there and one there. Let's see, maybe you can see it better like this. There you go. There's a false gate on either side of the true gate. And they have those 2 little tits that stick up. And what they do is when you go ahead and pick this thing, or put the key in, the slider will engage with the sidebar like that. Oh man, my focus is really shaky. Sorry about that. Let me lock it real quick. Oops. Probably focus first, then lock it. Okay. So the slider will stay, and then when the sidebar will actually move this way, I think. Oh, nope. This way. Alright, so this way. And it's got this little wall that sits against the slider, and that helps push the slider out to disengage it with those, to decouple it with the other part of the slider. But, so all these sliders are the same. They're all completely identical with 2 false gates and 1 true gate. At least as far as I can tell. Some of them actually say 2-2 and some of them say 2-1. Let's see if I can find one that says 2-1. We'll see if we can see the difference. There we go. Okay, 1-2. There we go. But I don't see a difference. It looks pretty the same to me. Looks like maybe one of the false gates is deeper than the other, but I really can't tell the difference. But oh, does that one say? Oh, that one's still 2-2. Okay, so there's. It looks like there's 4 1-2s and 4 2-2s, maybe. There's 5 2-2s and 3 1-2s. Okay, I don't know the difference. If anybody can see a difference that I'm missing, let me know in the comments. But I can't see a difference. But anyway, that's how this thing works. So it's a super interesting mechanism. Never really seen anything like it before. But now I get to have fun and put this thing back together. Alright, all. Thanks a lot. Have a great one. See you on the next one. Alright, take care.